Hey there, Adrienne Elise here. Welcome to the SuperNova Astrology Update for February 20 through 27, 2023. Well, we've just had this really intense shift of energy with the sun yesterday moving over into Pisces and right away coming into that Pisces new moon. It's a brand new start, a huge bloom of this Pisces energy with Saturn who spends a couple 2.5 years or so in a sign, moving into Pisces in the beginning of March, the first week of March. We're kind of having a meet and greet energy of this Pisces bloom, just so different from the energy that we have been working with. And so it kind of had this energy of a whiplash, like, oh, like things are moving on some level because here we have all planets direct. On another level, we've got some intense squares that are saying, oh, no, you don't. So let's look at this. It's interesting that Pisces new moon was the sun and the moon. It just happened on early on the day of the 20th or in the 19th, some parts of the world. And so um, in the west of US at least. And so um, that was not too far away, the sun and the moon, not too far away from Saturn in Aquarius. Saturn is at 27 degrees. And so it's that new moon was 3 degrees out, technically still a conjunction for that new moon. And so powerful energy because it's a new moon in Pisces, a new start in the water energy in Pisces, and feeling and reflecting, in accessing higher consciousness, in sorting through our delusions or trying to escape from them. But with that sun that or Saturn still conjunct in Aquarius, it has to do with our role in the Aquarian age. So very interesting energy there. So we've got Mercury in Aquarius has been in square to the nodes of the moon, and now is coming into square with Uranus in Taurus. So the nodes of the moon in Taurus and Scorpio, and now coming into a square with Uranus. So this Aquarius Uranus square, fixed square energy, so powerful because we also have Black Moon Lilith in square to the nodes right now. So what is this energy? Now, Mercury in Aquarius is wanting to figure out what's going on, especially after that crazy retrograde in Capricorn. And Aquarius, the Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius in Taurus. So Mercury in Aquarius speaking to, coming up against, squares are about tension, what's holding us back, and an energy of like, you're at the end of the way, you can go this way, there must be a 90-degree turn. So these squares are a counter energy to one, the flow of the Pisces, and two, all planets direct, because we are in the year of the water rabbit. And the rabbit is a watery yin sign. And so there's just a lot of this flow, a lot of this power, a lot of like, oh, you didn't think we've only known the feminine as disempowered, right? Well, what does it even mean to have female power? Oh, female power, that's total bitch. Yeah, we know that one, right? Manipulative, right? But what about the spiritual and intuitive power of the feminine, that mountain that stands there in absolute resolute strength and truth? How about the power of the feminine intuition to sense and feel and know what might be coming? And this whole year, 2023, seems to be about this part of ourselves, whether we're in male or female bodies. It's that intuitive power that's trying to come forward. Because Black Moon Lilith is in square to the nodes as well in Leo. Black Moon Lilith is our deepest, darkest secrets, what we're working on in the depths of our psyche. It's very connected to the 12th house and your astrology chart. So Black Moon Lilith is the furthest away that the moon goes in its orbit. And from the earth. And so it's like shadowy, dark side of the moon type energy stuff that we haven't been able to face or look at. Maybe because it's so buried in trauma. But Black Moon Lilith is now in Leo, and Leo is about expressing and shining our light. So we're looking at the darkest shadows around why we haven't been shining our light. So, Black Moon Lilith is square the nodes exact from the 23rd of February to the 3rd of March. So the very end of February and the first few days of March exactly square the nodes. So for this next period of time, for the next week and a half or so, it's a feeling of ready to roll and yet can't go anywhere because of this square. And it's interesting because, well, Mercury square Uranus will come off on the 24th, and that's right when we move into the exact Black Moon Lilith square the nodes. And so that energy of this, these are fixed signs, and fixed signs are about establishing something, order, or in a reality, a security, an authority. But this is about in our own self. It's about establishing ourselves, about fixing. And of course, fixed signs can get really stuck in the wrong patterns. And yet it's really about finding that one pattern and sticking true to that way, to that center. So the Black Moon Lilith, these deepest, darkest secrets around our light. And then the North Node in Taurus in square, this fixed T square, the North Node in Taurus, and this is at 5 degrees. The North Node is just gonna, it's the nodes of the moon go backwards through the signs. And at 6, just about to make it to 5 when they come into this exact square, T square with Black Moon Lilith. So North Node is about how are we going to get to go to where we're trying to go? What is the path forward? South Node, what's holding us back? So the nodes, when anything square the nodes, it's always got this feeling of like hesitation in being able to move forward. So we are examining because we haven't really been able to, I mean, we have made huge strides, of course, but so many supernova souls are feeling like they're not seeing the progress in their life that would reflect the energetic work that they've done. And maybe this is what it's all about. So North Node in Taurus, how are we going to get to where we're going? And that has to do with our permission, our worthiness for our intuitive power. Because Uranus is our higher self, our higher mind. It has an energy of higher vibrational frequencies connected to the ancient wisdom of the past and the future technology, or vice versa. And our higher mind. And so with Uranus there in Taurus and Mercury in square in Aquarius, and all of this around our role and who we are in the Aquarian age, and in square to Uranus there in Taurus is about this permission for our higher mind. Because as we've had both Uranus and the North Node in Taurus for this last year and a half, on going on 2 years, or a year and a half, we are examining these energies. And Uranus and Taurus is very, very important. Uranus is at 15 degrees now, and that is smack dab in the middle, direct, moving through 15 degrees and saying, made it through the first half of the journey in Taurus. And so when Mercury is our everyday mind, our everyday consciousness, and Uranus is our higher consciousness. So when Mercury and Uranus interact together, it's all about the higher mind talking to the lower mind. And it's a great opportunity to be able to receive messages and insight. And these might have to do with everything that's happened over the last couple of months with that Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. So watch out for that this week, some insights coming through. And so that Mercury square Uranus and moving into then the energies of the Black Moon Lilith square the nodes. And that North Node in Taurus is saying the way we move forward is to be able to receive our gifts, our higher intuitive gifts. Uranus and Taurus is saying, do you deserve, are you worthy of who you really are? And that's everything for supernova souls right now, because we're understanding that nobody can take anything from us really that we aren't willing to give away, and that we are the highest authority. And it's time to stand up and take that back. And we can only do that if we come into the truth of who we really are. And that's everything that this North Node Taurus and Uranus and Taurus energy has been about for the last year and a half, year and a bit. So the South Node is in Scorpio, and Scorpio is an energy of the shadows and something that's been hidden. And so this is like what's been hidden in our psyche that we haven't been able to address, that's keeping us from moving forward, keeping us back in the shadows, keeping those in those loops of these old destructive patterns. Again and again, we come in our life where it's like, wait a minute, I did this already. This is exactly the same story. How did I get trapped here again? I thought I grew, thought I learned something. And so something in our subconscious is keeping us in those loops. And it might just be that we got duped to forget who we are, right? And we conceded our power and didn't even know we did. But this Black Moon Lilith square the nodes is like, of course, that Black Moon Lilith, that deep, dark secrets around shining our light in a T square with the nodes of the moon, saying we can only come into our higher power and receive it. And once we heal that shadow energy, and maybe Black Moon Lilith and Leo is helping us find deepest, darkest, hidden stuff, because it's all connected to how we haven't been expressing the truth of who we are, expressing our light. So this is so powerful because this whole year plays out. We've got Venus retrograde in Leo happening starting at the end of July. And there will be 3 conjunctions with Black Moon Lilith, speaking to this, the light of the feminine, the empowerment of the feminine. So Black Moon Lilith in square the nodes lasts through the 3rd of March. And very powerful energy that first week. So this is kind of our next chapter. Black Moon Lilith square the nodes, and at the same time, all planets direct. But we're like just, it's waiting at that precipice, like, whoa. And then, it's one thing when you can't go back, can't go forward. But when you're standing on the edge of reality and you can't go back and you can't go forward, it's quite disconcerting. Now, this is where we're coming back to the Pisces energy, because with the year of the water rabbit, the Pisces energy, Neptune Pisces has been really bringing up where the Pisces energy of the past, especially the Piscean age, was used, the collective consciousness, spiritual vibration of Pisces used to control humanity. Now we're claiming this back. And with the year of the water rabbit, we're like literally getting in tune and remembering and downloading our ancient wisdom around working with the elemental forces. And the water being the most powerful representation of really what connects everything together. So, a very spiritual energy, a very spiritual desire with Venus is still in Pisces now, coming to the end degrees of Pisces, and will be moving into Aries on the 21st. So that's going to be a big shift of energy. And it's interesting because that we have Black Moon Lilith square the nodes, because Black Moon Lilith does seem to be the deepest, darkest secrets that have to do with our feminine side, the healer part of ourselves. And so that it's interesting that Black Moon Lilith square the nodes is happening just as Venus moves over out of Pisces, that rebirth of the feminine, into the sign of Aries. So just that's coming up tomorrow. So that'll be a big shift of energy. And so it's almost like this is what created this very strange energy of the last few days, is this big shift into the Pisces energy. And then that new moon, big bloom of energies. But then the squares that are kind of holding the energy back, trying to contain the water perhaps, and the water figuring out what in the heck it's doing. And So we're kind of working with this, but that for that new moon, now we have Venus at the very end of Pisces and the new moon was at the very beginning of Pisces, bookends. Now with the water energy and what Pisces represents as far as our ability to dream and vision and imagine, it's like a portal is created that we can step through into that co-creation standpoint where we're no longer a victim of our reality. We're present and working with the universal forces. This is what it feels like when you slip out of the matrix and all that control energy is suddenly gone. And now it's more about flow and navigation. And so, very interesting there. But then, as Venus moves over into Aries tomorrow, boom, it's this like she is on fire, you know? But then we've got Black Moon Lilith in Leo, square the nodes. So it's like, yeah, no, you don't, girl, because we still haven't healed this shit. And we've got to get it out of the nitty gritty because you have to stand without reservation. You have to stand in that absolute pure gown of um, retribution and uh, uh, clearing of all of the dark scum that's been placed on the feminine as she got cut out of the patriarchal religious structure and degraded and all that. It's like she's got to take all this off because it's kind of that analogy of seeing the feminine as the darkness, and there's the dark and the light and the play of the forces that's totally different. But seeing, there was a direct agenda to see the feminine as literally evil and wrong and bad, especially those independent women that like to heal people. So that energy is like exactly what this is kind of coming to. So it's like, what has been keeping us from expressing that feminine light, that spiritual truth inside of us? And so it's interesting that Venus is now coming into a place of empowerment. Now that means that Venus is coming up into a conjunction with Jupiter. This is going to happen on the 2nd of March. Then Venus will go on to connect with Chiron on the 4th of March. And then Jupiter will connect with Chiron in the middle of the month. And so very powerful next week. That's the upcoming week where we will have this very intense bloom of Aries energy as we move into the final chapter of the retrograde drama in mid-March. So we will keep tabs on that very intense energy going on as when Mars makes his final square we've been talking about to Neptune, the sun is also going to be conjunct Neptune. So it's Sun, Neptune square Mars at exactly 25 degrees, a mutable square. So that's going to be a very different energy. And that's right at the middle of March. And it's about moving out of these old patterns. It's like breaking the spell and claiming back your spiritual self rather than all of the delusions that have been painted about who you are and what you're here to do. Because Mars is in Gemini, which is our voice, our communication, our ability to share what we have inside. And there's this Mars, it's just like our warrior. So it's kind of like our warrior's been going backwards, regressing, where we've had our voice taken from us again and again, lifetime after lifetime, the voice of reason, the voice of reality, the voice of spirit, of mother, of compassion, And so this is all brewing inside of us as we've got, I think this will all start in the next day or so with Venus moving into Aries, and we'll start to feel all of this energy. But for this week, the main thing we're feeling is Uranus square or Mercury square Uranus, downloads from the higher self, great perspective on our reality. And then Black Moon Lilith square the nodes. What in the world? Because so the Black Moon Lilith square the nodes is saying the only way to move forward is to express what is within us, except it's been cloaked in darkness, so shadowy that hidden even from us. So it's a great excavation of our inner light with this Black Moon Lilith in Leo. So use this time wisely. It's a bit frustrating because it feels like being held back at the gate, but at the same time, it's showing you the last nitty-gritty of what has been hidden in your psyche that's been keeping you from being able to really move and really claim your higher self, know who you are, to even know who you are. And the saying, like, we're all ready to bust through and get out of this stuck place. But how can we do that when we don't even know who we are? Because the next chapter is about expressing that truth. And so it's all awakening. And there's this with the Pisces energy coming, it's all this energy of like a spiritual revival, being like, just like feeling the spirit move within you and living life from that place. So claim that energy. It's like we're going back into Pisces to recapitulate and heal the Piscean age and excavating out the treasures of who we are and excavating out the magic and beautiful connection that is what life is really about. And people who are escaping the matrix or are still open to these spiritual impulses, there is this massive energy and power to feel the presence of creation within you and to reset your course according to this truth. This is what this is all about. Very powerful. Next week and a half, I had 2 weeks, 3 weeks. um, but right now, it's just kind of looking at this because this is going to set your opportunity for the rest of the year, how much you can unfold and unfurl and show who you are and be in the world. What's coming up right now with these squares. So really powerful energy. So let's keep in touch with what's going on. And thank you so much for following and being a brave supernova soul, going through all you've gone through. Thank you so much. We all thank you for being here. And we know what you've gone through and the light that you hold within. And so thanks for being with us. If you want to be a part of the Supernova Soul Tribe, you get access to the Friday video update. Information to sign up is in the information box below. And for $20 a month, you can get the Supernova Soul Tribe and as well as access to the new and full moon activations and live sharing circles directly after those activations. A great way to really feel a part of your tribe. And so that's $20 a month. And so thank you so much for your support, for being with us. No matter what form we are, we're all together here. And I hope you can feel that, supernova souls. You are rock stars. So I look forward to seeing you soon on the next update. Until then, I'm Adrienne Elise. Namaste.